You just apologized for something you didn't do, and you can't even explain how it happened. 3 hours ago, you were fine, confident, clear. Now you're backtracking, explaining yourself, justifying a boundary you had every right to set. And there's this sick feeling in your gut because part of you knows, you just got played. But you can't pinpoint where it started. That's the trick. And if you don't learn how it works in the next 8 minutes, you'll spend the rest of your life dancing to music only other people can hear. Here's what no one tells you about manipulation. It doesn't feel like manipulation when it's happening. It feels like care, like honesty, like belonging. The best manipulators don't corner you. They make you walk into the trap, willingly, while thinking it was your idea. And men fall for it at a rate that should terrify you. Not because we're stupid, but because we were never taught to defend against something invisible. You think the battle is physical. It's not. You think it's logical. Wrong again. The real battlefield is psychological. And brother, right now you're fighting blind. But that ends today, because I'm about to show you the 3 manipulation tricks that work on 94% of men, and, more importantly, why they work. Not so you can use them, but so you finally see them coming. Trick number 1, ego baiting. You're out with people you respect. Things are easy. Then someone says, "Man, remember when you used to be spontaneous? You were so alive back then." Your chest tightens because they didn't say it, but you heard it. You're not that guy anymore. You've become boring, safe, predictable. And before you can think, you're scrambling to prove them wrong, making plans you don't want, spending money you shouldn't, performing like a circus animal just to show you're still spontaneous, still interesting, still enough. They never asked for any of it. They just planted the seed. You watered it yourself. That's ego baiting. One sentence that triggers the version of yourself you're terrified of becoming. And people who know how to pull that trigger, they steer you like a puppet. Every man carries shadows. Weak, boring, broke, forgotten. Manipulators don't need to know you deeply. They just probe until they find yours. One comment, and when you scramble to disprove it, they know they own you. The moment you start performing to disprove an accusation that was never made, you've already lost. Men who break free, they hear the bait and let it die. Someone says you've changed. You look them dead in the eye and say, "Yeah, I have." No defense, no performance, just truth. Watch how fast they lose power when you stop giving away your psychology. But that's just the surface, because once they know you'll perform on command, they escalate to something darker, something that needs 0 words. Trick number 2, weaponized silence. You said no to something, doesn't matter what. Now the room's gone cold. Not angry cold, just absent. Messages dry up, invitations stop. People are physically there, but emotionally gone. And suddenly, you're the one drowning in discomfort. You're the one asking, "What's wrong? Did I mess up?" They don't say a word. They just wait. Because your brain is hardwired to resolve tension, to close open loops. And the longer the silence stretches, the more unbearable it becomes. So you break. You apologize for the boundary. Take back what you said. Agree to what you already refused. Anything to stop the pain. And they just learned the most dangerous lesson of all. Your boundaries collapse if they create enough discomfort. I watched this hollow out someone I know. Strong guy, successful. 6 months in a new social circle, he stopped seeing old friends, stopped training, stopped anything that might trigger disapproval. When I asked why, he said, "I just don't want the drama." But there was no drama. No yelling, no fights. They just weaponized his need for peace, and he erased himself, keeping it. The antidote? Let the silence exist. Sit in the discomfort without flinching. They go quiet, you go quieter. Not from spite, but because you don't negotiate with people who weaponize pain. When they realize it doesn't work, either they communicate like adults or they exit. Both outcomes beat living as a hostage. But even if you master those two, there's a third trick so subtle most don't catch it until they wake up one morning and don't recognize the stranger in the mirror. This one doesn't just control behavior, it rewrites who you believe you are.
Trick number 3, identity reframing. I knew a guy. When I met him, he was building a business, training daily, laser focused. Then he fell into a new crowd. 6 months later, business dead, training stopped. When I asked what happened, he said, "They helped me realize I was obsessed with myself. I needed balance." Here's what they did. They reframed his strength as weakness. Discipline became toxic obsession. Ambition became inability to connect. Focus became emotional unavailability. And because it sounded like growth, he believed it. I didn't learn this from theory. I learned it the hard way. By losing years I'll never get back. That's identity reframing. They convinced him his power was poison, so he spent a year dismantling everything that made him dangerous. Not because anyone forced him, but because they made him believe it was his breakthrough. Stop building. Wake up a decade later wondering where they vanished to. Not because someone destroyed them, but because the collective convinced them to destroy themselves. The sickest part? They think they're evolving, while they're actually shrinking. So how do you defend yourself? How do you stop them from rewriting your code without permission? You need to see the pattern, because once you do, you're immune. Here's how all 3 work mechanically. They target the gap between who you are and who you fear becoming. That gap is your weak point. Manipulators probe until they locate it. One comment, one silence, one reframe. When you react, they've got the coordinates. Every time you scramble to prove them wrong, you confirm they're right. A secure man doesn't perform, doesn't explain, doesn't justify. He just exists. We're conditioned to accommodate, compromise, be flexible. That's fine until you're dealing with people who interpret flexibility as weakness. That's when you need clarity, not cruelty, just crystal clear boundaries about who you are and what you won't tolerate. People trying to change you aren't doing it for your growth. They're doing it for their comfort. They're making you smaller, manageable, controllable. So what do you actually do? Stop reacting to ego bait. Someone implies you've changed? Don't perform. Let it hang. If they push, maybe I have. No defense. Watch the power drain from their words. Stop fearing silence. Someone weaponizes discomfort? Let it breathe. Don't chase, don't fix. You wait. Let them marinate in their choice to shut down. Guard your identity. When people reframe discipline as obsession, focus as coldness, recognize it instantly. Not growth, control. Reject it. Keep being who you're meant to be. Yeah, that makes you the villain in some stories. Cold, rigid, difficult. Let them write it. Because on the other side is a version of you that doesn't get played. A version that spots the hooks before they're set. A version moving through reality with his eyes wide and his frame unshakable. That's your shadow. The part that doesn't bend, doesn't perform, doesn't shrink. And when you stop apologizing for it, you become untouchable. They'll call you cold when you stop being easy to control. Let them. You're not here to be warm. You're here to be awake. And awake men don't get played. They watch, and they move accordingly. Send this to the man who keeps apologizing for being himself.